Hi, welcome to Pilates. I hope you're feeling okay and I hope this is a nice change from your weights workouts. Let's get you warmed up. You'll need to start standing and you'll need either a towel, like a long bath towel. Here's mine. If you have a squishy ball, you'll need one of those, and if you have a stretchy band, you'll need one. If you haven't got any of those things, don't worry. Just a sofa cushion will be absolutely fine instead of a ball. Let's get you warmed up. So we are on your back. If you need to use your cushion, that's fine. If you need something underneath your head, that's fine as well. So I'm starting with cushion under the bum, feet on the floor, hip distance apart, rocking the hips towards you and away from you to help loosen off that lower back. So we're only tilting towards you and then coming back to straight again. You're loosening off tension across your lower back, especially if you've been sat down a lot today. Maybe you've been back in the car a lot. Maybe you've just been chained to your laptop all week or all weekend. So you can do as many or as few of these as you feel like you need to. If that starts to feel better, take the cushion out from underneath you. It's up to you whether you want to pop that between the knees. It does help with stability, also with inner thighs and pelvic floor work as well. If you're not too worried about that, then you can keep your knees just as they are. Just try not to let them wander out to the side. Belly button drawn in towards you, tilting the hips, slowly rolling the bottom all the way up. So we're coming up towards the shoulder blades, little pause at the top, and then tilt to roll down. Really take your time with these ones. So we're focusing on coming up one bone at a time, keeping that belly button drawn in towards your spine, trying to keep the hips as level as possible. Squeeze your bottom at the top, and then tilt to roll down. Making sure that head and neck stay relaxed the whole time. Hopefully you should feel like your back is improving a little bit, not quite so juddery on the way down maybe. If that feels okay, you're going to take your hands across your chest, so we're taking away the stability. So exactly the same thing, but your arms reaching across your chest. And then we're adding heel raises at the top. So squeeze your bottom, keep the hips as level as you can. Hands are across your chest, heel raises at the top. Is that too much to think about in one go? That was quite a lot of options then. Brilliant, one more. This time taking your arms out a little bit wider. Feet in close together, belly button drawn in towards you, dropping the knees over from one side to the other. Take your time with these. Should feel a stretch all the way down one side. Try not to grit your teeth or hold your breath. Shoulders stay relaxed and on the floor. If these ones feel okay, next level up is with your knees lifted. So legs up at right angles, belly button drawn in towards you, dropping the knees over from one side to the other, but keep those shoulders down on the floor. Head stay straight. Try not to let it pull you all the way over. So good control as you're coming over. And then just hug your knees in towards your chest. This time you're going to take one leg out straight, one knee in towards your chest, press your straight heel away, the heel on the straight leg, press it away from you. Should feel that stretchy increase down the front of the thigh at the top. If you need to, you can have cushion underneath your bottom for this one. Just lifts you up a little bit so you get a deeper stretch. Changing sides whenever you're ready. So knee in towards your chest, straighten out the other leg and press your straight heel away to increase the stretch. Lovely, bring the knees in. We're turning onto your side. So we're going on to the usual open and close, just to loosen off that middle back. So you've got knees bent up towards you, hands out in front of your chest, neck and shoulders are comfortable, hopefully, and then it's open and close, so straight across the chest, hands come back together. We're aiming for 10 or 10-ish. Hopefully that feels a little bit better on your chest and shoulders. Middle back starting to loosen up. Maybe your hands going closer to the floor each time. And then we're on to circles. So over the top, just make sure you've got enough space. Knees are in the same position, but this time we're going all the way over the top, and then hands come round and back together. How's those shoulders feel? And last one here. We are on to rotator cuff. So we're staying in the same position. I'm just moving out the way of the sofa. So staying in the same position, elbow is tucked into your waist, hand across your belly button, and then it's open and close. So keep everything else the same. Working the front of the shoulders, strengthen up the front of the arm a little bit. Good if you're recovering from a shoulder issue, or if you just have weak arms and shoulders in general. Just start to feel that down the front of your arm, front of your shoulder. And relax, well done. We are onto legs from here. So knees are bent up towards you, feet drifted slightly behind you. Move back a little bit. So your feet are drifted slightly behind you. You're going to lift your knees, squeeze your bottom, knees come back together. So aiming for around 10. And if that feels hard enough, that's fine, you have a rest there. Those of you who are feeling a little bit stronger, feet stay together. Going to lift the top knee, squeeze your bottom, keep the hips under control so we're not leaning back. Squeeze your bottom and hold for a count of 10. And then bring the knees back together. We've got 3 of these. So it's lift the knee, squeeze your bottom and hold. Keeping that belly button drawn in, shoulders relaxed, top half wherever you're comfortable. Good, last one here. Lift the knee, squeeze the bottom. And bring the knees back together. From here, turning yourself over onto your back. We're starting off with single leg stretch. So easy option first, hips are level, belly button drawn in towards you. And then we've got alternate legs. If that feels okay, you can add in your arms overhead, so keeping your back as still as possible, hips stay level, belly button drawn in, try not to grit your teeth or hold your breath. Those of you wanting to work a little bit harder, just going to turn around a little bit. Those wanting to work a little bit harder, you can have your knees lifted. So legs are up at tabletop, belly button drawn in towards you, and then pushing one leg at a time forwards. So doing as many as you can without excessive shaking or without your back changing position. So the minute you feel like you're starting to arch or lose control from that middle, pop your feet down and have a rest. And then when you're ready, hug your knees in towards your chest or stretch yourself out long, whatever feels better. Are we all okay? Yeah. Good. Turning yourselves over to the other side. So you've got knees bent out towards you, hands out in front of your chest, and it's straight across. Imagine you're opening a giant window or a giant book. If you're feeling a lot of pressure on the front of your shoulder with this one, it could be that you're leaving your chest and your head behind and it's just your arm that's going over. So if you've got very flexible shoulders, you might find that's an issue. In that case, fingertips towards the ceiling, little pause, and then drop the whole upper body open. So hips stay still, feet stay still, knees together and on the floor. Hands and shoulders towards the floor on the other side, everything comes back together. So have a think about how these feel compared to the other side. Have you got one side that's stiffer than the other? One side that goes a little bit further than the other? One side that feels crunchier than the other? And then we're on 2 circles, all the way up and over the top, arm comes around, hand comes back together. Turning your head to go with your hand. I make it one more. And then we've got rotator cuff. So staying in the same position, elbow into your waist, hand across the belly button. This time keep the elbow still and it's open and closed with the hand. Should be starting to feel these ones, front of your arm, front of your shoulder. Might be worse one side if one shoulder is a little bit weaker than the other one, or if you've had an injury to that one. And then we're on to clamshells. So just relax your arms, feet stay together. It's lift your knees, squeeze your bottom, knees together. If that doesn't quite feel comfortable on your hip joint, lift your feet up slightly. This will give you a little bit more space to move, but you'll still be in the right position, should be a bit more comfortable. Either option is fine, but if you feel like you're getting a cramped feeling in your hip joint with your feet down, try it with them slightly lifted. Squeeze your bottom as you lift. So we've got 10 here, and then we've got a 10-second hold. So squeeze your bottom, lift and hold. How do these ones feel on your hip? Hopefully the movement's getting better. And relax, well done. Just turn yourselves over onto your back. You're going to stretch off both sides. One foot goes over the other knee and then bring your knees in towards your chest. You have to excuse the sniffing, my hay fever is terrible today. and then changing sides when you're ready. Foot goes across the knee. Open up the knee if you can, and then bring your knees in towards your chest. If that one's tricky on one side, just drop the knees over to one side. Hug your knees in towards your chest, little rock from side to side. And then roll yourselves up to sitting when you're ready. Never mind, I just use a cushion, otherwise I could spend ages. I don't know what they've done with it. Okay, cushion if you want to use it. Cushion, towel, you can wedge those behind you. So if you are doing these ones with your feet on the floor, you can have something behind you if you have back issues. If you've got one of the small balls, that's fine, use that instead. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, belly button drawn in towards you, rolling back halfway. You can add bow and arrow arms here, and then roll all the way back up. So the more of the arms that you do at once, the harder it is to maintain that position, so the harder you'll be working. Hopefully you can feel that on your stomach, not too much on the thighs. If you're feeling a little bit stronger with these ones but don't want to do full roll down, roll back halfway, open the arms wide, open the arms wide, hands come back in and up. Keeping straight on these ones though, so we're not leaning. Use that ball to help support your back. How do these ones feel? Easier? Harder? Harder, good, they should be harder.
I've got so much weight through my stomach during this, but I really need these.
Oh no!
Oh God, my stomach.
It's so hard to avoid the fridge, isn't it?
And you're just less active or haven't been that until last week.
Yep. And roll yourselves all the way up. We are on to hip flexor stretch next, so loosen off the top of those thighs if they're starting to get a little bit tight. Big step forwards, squeeze your bottom and push your hip forwards. Should feel a stretch down the front of your thigh. And then rest your arm on your leg, lift the other arm up and lean over to the side. Changing sides whenever you're ready. So big step forwards, squeeze your bottom, push your hip forwards, rest your arm on your leg, lift the other arm up and then over to the side. Lovely, well done. Coming onto your hands and knees. So you've got hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips, shoulders away from your ears, belly button drawn in towards you, so we're nice and steady in the middle. If you feel like you need a cushion between your knees, you can use that for a little bit of stability, but only if you're doing arms only. If you're adding the legs, it's going to be a bit pointless. So we've got easy option, which is cat pedals, slightly harder option, which is arms forwards, and then slightly harder option, which is Superman. We're going to do one set of 10 of these, and then I'm going to add on some more options. This is kind of like a practice round. Hopefully these ones feel fairly easy. And then just take a break whenever you need to. Sit back towards your heels, reaching your arms forwards for a little bit of a stretch. And then coming back up onto your hands and knees. Second option, second round rather, we've either got exactly the same as we've just done, or if you're finding those quite easy and want to work a little bit harder, tuck your toes under, so we're coming up into almost a plank position. Squeeze your bottom as you lift your leg, so keep everything else still, but alternate legs. The option of what you were doing is still there, so you can stick with this one, or these ones, or opposite arm and leg if you want to. But the option to add plank position with just the legs is there if you want to work harder. So you're trying to keep your hips as steady as you can, belly button pulled in towards you, bum squeeze, try not to rock from side to side too much with the hips. Give yourself a stretch whenever you need to. Well done, just have a little stretch if you need it. We're on to thread the needle. You can either do this one on your hands and knees, hand goes by your head, lift the elbow up, thread your arm through the gap. Or if that's not comfortable, so if you've got neck issues, you might be more comfortable round on your side, so either propped up on your hand or on your elbow, fingertips towards the ceiling, thread through the gap all the way back to the top. Whichever one you're doing, you're aiming for around 10 on each side. Keeping that chest up so we're not sinking into your arm, propped up on that arm so we're not slumping down. When you're ready, sit yourself back towards your heels, give your arms a rest. Because we're going to go straight on to the other side. So it's knees bent up towards you. Resting on your elbow or your hand, or you can do this on hands and knees, it's really up to you. Fingertips towards the ceiling, thread your arm through the gap all the way back to the top. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. I ended up having to go actual food shopping yesterday. Oh my god, I sneezed once. The dirty looks. No, I got glared at by loads of people in masks. I didn't know that was a thing, that you were supposed to wear masks if you went shopping. Apparently, because it was on the briefing thing today, apparently you're supposed to wear masks when you're in an enclosed space. I'm like, I've not heard that so far.
Where are you supposed to get them from?
No idea. Did anyone see that video on Facebook of the woman that tried to make her own out of a pair of socks? She looked like one of the Muppets. Have we done about 100 on this side now? Yeah. And when you're ready, turn yourselves around to sitting again. So back round to sitting, you're going to need something underneath you, well not underneath you, kind of behind you to prop you up. This goes for whichever option you're doing. So have a ball or some cushions behind you, so you're only going halfway back. Whatever you're using should be helping to support your lower back though, so that you don't feel it's being strained. Belly button pulled in towards you, roll back halfway and hold. Little pause. Easiest option is extend the legs. So my hands are at the side just by my knees. Easiest option is extend the legs. Slightly harder option, bring the knee in towards the chest. Mary, I would do extend rather than knee up. Karen, how's your hip with this one?
Yeah, fine.
Good, good. Gina, Sarah, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
And roll yourselves all the way back up. Quick breather, then we're going to do that one again. So exactly the same position, we're aiming for about 20. Shoulders relaxed, belly button drawn in towards you, rolling halfway back, little pause, and then you're either adding leg extension forwards or knee up towards your chest. Can you feel this across your stomach? If you can manage 20, that's great. If not, just do what you can. Those of you with back issues, you are down on your back doing bridge. So feet on the floor, tilt the hips and roll up, just loosening off any tension that you might have built up. If your back's okay, then you can have a go at rolling if you want to. So it's hug your knees in towards your chest, roll back towards the shoulders, all the way back up. Looking good, well done. And relax, well done. This time we are down on your front. So down on your front, hands go just in front of you. So fingertips just in front of your head, belly button pulled in towards you, and we're doing alternate leg lifts. So keep the feet as relaxed as possible. Squeeze your bottom as you lift. If these feel okay, hands out in front of you, and it's opposite arm and leg. So like your Superman we did on hands and knees, but concentrate on squeezing your bottom as you lift. So it's that glute engagement that we're after, and the strength across your back to be able to lift the arms up as well. If those feel quite easy, let me just move forwards a little bit. If those feel quite easy, it's squeeze your bottom, lift both legs, and then you're kicking like you've got front crawl, like you're doing front crawl in the swimming pool. So keep your legs fairly straight, not kicking very high, but quite fast. So we're aiming for about 20. If your head and shoulders are bobbing along as well, you're kicking a little bit too hard, so just ease off a bit. These want to be slow and controlled. You should feel these across your lower back and your bottom. If it's all hamstrings, chances are what you're doing is bending your knees. And while that's okay, it's not really what we're trying to do. So we want to be strengthening up bottom and lower back. If you're bending the knees like this, it's all going to be hamstrings and lower back. Those of you feeling stronger, arms go out in front of you. Squeeze your bottom, lift both legs, lift the arms, and then you've got opposite arm and legs. They go together. So we're coordinated, hopefully. We're aiming for about 20, and then sit yourself back for a stretch. This is a variation from plank. A lot of people hate plank, but it doesn't need to be quite so horrible. So with this one, what we're looking for is watching the shoulder and elbow position. If you have funny elbows like mine and they twist around, it's going to be a lot harder to keep control. So we're going from hands and knees, take a tiny step forwards, and then a tiny step back with your knees. You're going to line your shoulders up over the top of your hands, belly button pulled in towards you. If this is as far as you want to go, absolutely fine. If this is too much on your neck and shoulders, grab yourself, here's one I made earlier, sofa or table or something, so that we're propped up at a better angle. The higher up you're propped up, the easier this is, because there's not so much weight on your arms. So belly button pulled in towards you, alternate arms. Still using your stomach to hold you up, but you're not having to put your whole body weight on your arms and shoulders, which is an awful lot easier. So if you have neck issues, start propped up. Table, chair, side in the kitchen, anything like that works. If it's really high up, you can prop yourself up on your feet. You know, if you're up on a kitchen worktop or something, you'll need to be up on your feet. Otherwise, baby plank, belly button pulled in towards you, alternate arms. So really similar to that beginner Superman earlier, but this time the focus is on the stomach rather than balance. If you need a stretch, sit back at any point. Give your wrists a break if you need to. And then turn yourselves over for a stretch. Might need a towel, might need a stretchy band. Whatever you've got is fine. If you're using a band, just make sure it's long enough. Tuck that underneath your foot, leg is up straight, and then ease that in towards you. Keep the band fairly tight, turn your toe in, and then turn your toe out. Good for strengthening around the ankle. So next one is leg out to the side, if it will go. Use that band to help support the foot. And coming back to the middle. Straighten out the other leg. And then this one comes across you. It might not go very far at all.
Yeah, I just pick that one up, I don't do it.
Coming back to the middle. There's I do keep these ones in because there's a lot of benefits if people get sciatica with these ones. So the different angles of the foot and the different angles that you're stretching helps to relieve some of the pressure of the sciatic nerve. But obviously if you've got hip issues, then it's a little bit different, isn't it? So keep the band around the other foot and then ease that leg in towards you. And then turn the toes in, turn the toes out. Keep in hold of the band, but let the leg drop out to the side if it's comfortable. Should feel a stretch on your inner thigh. And then coming back to the middle, straighten out that leg and then drop the leg across you. If that feels like it's too much, bend the knees and then drop them over to the side. Coming back to the middle, untuck the legs, roll yourself onto your side and back up to sitting. So sitting yourselves comfortably, doesn't have to be cross-legged, however you're comfortable is fine. If you'd rather sit on your sofa or chair, that's fine too. One hand over the other, push your hands away. So just stretching that upper back. And then take your hands around behind you. If they'll reach, place them on the lower back. Ease the shoulder blades together behind you, lift your chest. If they don't reach, fingertips on the floor just at the side of you. Use the floor for balance to lift your chest and ease the shoulder blades back. So we're not trying to wrench them back out of position, just enough so you can get a bit of a stretch down the front of your arms and the front of your chest. Back to the middle. One arm comes across, hand underneath, just above your shoulder, elbow. It was a test. Bring that arm in towards you. Changing sides when you're ready. And then grab your towel. That goes over your shoulder. One hand in front, one hand behind. Pull down evenly and then drop your head away from your towel. Should feel a nice stretch down the side of your neck. And back to the top. Changing sides. One in front, one behind. Pull down evenly so the shoulders stay level and then drop your head away from your towel. Back to the middle. When you're ready, tuck the legs under and slowly roll yourselves up to standing. Take a big step back, heel down at the back, front knee bent, back leg straight. Should feel that stretch in your calf. Changing sides, big step back, front knee bent, back leg straight. To the middle, just walking through your feet. And then we're coming back to that neutral position. So toes, knees and hips lined up, neck and shoulders relaxed. Imagine that hook on your head pulling you up taller. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, relax those shoulders, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Good, back to that neutral position and give yourselves a round of applause. Well done.